Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine and today we're going to be talking about the 54-day Rosary Novena. So we're going to go over what the novena is, how to pray it, the origins of this novena, and then we're going to end with my testimony because I have prayed the 54-day Rosary Novena quite a few times and I've had some very mixed results with it. So let's go ahead and get started. So the 54-day Rosary Novena is basically a really long novena. Now, as you guys probably know, a novena typically is a prayer you pray every day for 9 days. And this is a rosary you pray every single day for 54 days. The first 27 days you are praying, asking Mary for an intention. And then the last 27 days you are praying in thanksgiving of the intention, whether or not you received it. A lot of people have had miracles happen on day 27. A lot of people have had miracles happen on day 54. A lot of people have had miracles happen many years after, and maybe they attribute it to the novena. Some people pray it continually. Of course, always keep in mind, God is not an ATM. He's not a genie, anything like that. You may be praying this novena for something and it gets answered in a completely, utterly different way. But just keep in mind that God hears your prayers. Mary is interceding for you, and she is Our Lady of the Rosary, Queen of the Most Holy Rosary, all that good stuff. So let's dive into the origins. So how I pray the novena is I use this. This is the 54-day Rosary Novena PDF. There are a couple different, slightly different versions out there on the internet. This is the one I use, so I'm going to link it below. But it includes the origin and it gives the most detail. I'm just going to read from the PDF because why not? On February 16th, 1884, the afflicted girl and her relatives commenced a novena of rosaries. The Queen of the Most Holy Rosary favored her with an apparition on March 3rd. Mary, sitting upon a high throne, surrounded by luminous figures, held the divine child in her lap, and in her hand a rosary. The Virgin Mother and the Holy Infant were clad in gold-embroidered garments. They were accompanied by Saint Dominic and Saint Catherine of Siena. The throne was profusely decorated with flowers. The beauty of Our Lady was marvelous. Mary looked upon the little sufferer with maternal tenderness, and the patient saluted her with the words, "Queen of the Most Holy Rosary, be gracious to me, restore my health. I have already prayed a novena, O Mary, but have not yet experienced thy aid. I am so anxious to be cured." "Child," responded the Blessed Virgin, "thou hast invoked me by various title and hast always obtained favors from me. Now, since thou hast called me by the title that is pleasing to me, Queen of the Holy Rosary, I can no longer refuse the favor thou dost petition, for this name is most precious and dear to me. Make 3 novenas and thou shalt obtain it." Once more the Queen of the Most Holy Rosary appeared to her and said, "Whoever desires to obtain favors from me should make 3 novenas of prayers of the Rosary and 3 novenas in thanksgiving." So that is the origin story for the 54-day Rosary Novena. It is basically praying a rosary every single day for 54 days, but with a bunch of extra prayers involved. Again, this is the version that I use. There are some other versions on the internet, but I really like this one. So you start off with your normal sign of the cross, a Hail Mary, and then a quick prayer. And if it's the 27 days of supplication, you pray one thing. If it's 27 days of thanksgiving, you pray a different thing. Then you go in and do the regular rosaries, but I like this because it forces you to meditate before each mystery. So for example, let's take the second sorrowful mystery, the scourging at the pillar. Sorrowful Mother Mary, meditating on the mystery of the scourging at the pillar, when at Pilate's command your divine Son, stripped and bound to a pillar, was lacerated from head to foot with cruel scourges, and his flesh torn away until his mortified body could bear no more, I humbly pray. And then you do the decade. And then you close with, I bind these blood-red roses with a petition for the grace of mortifying my senses, and lay this bouquet at your feet. So you end each decade with binding a bouquet of roses and placing it at the feet of Mary, and then in the end, you come to your conclusion prayers, which are the same every single day, in which you pray the St. Michael prayer, you pray the Memorare, you do the litany to the Blessed Virgin, and then you also do a prayer where you're binding the bouquets of roses and you ask an angel to place it on the head of Mary. So I really like this when I am praying for a specific person. I usually pray it at night, which is not my best idea, but I'll pray it and I'll imagine that person I'm praying for sleeping, and I imagine Mary just pouring the graces, pouring these roses upon the person whom I'm praying for. So it's super easy to pray. It is a little time consuming. Another recommendation I have for praying the 54-day Rosary Novena, journal every single day, right? So I have my journal here. It is absolutely just filled. I write a lot in there, and I write in cursive. I always write day 1, the date, and I just write down how I'm feeling that day. Maybe write down, if I'm praying for a specific person, how my relationship is with that person, whatever. It's a Jesus journal. I'm just writing a few lines, maybe a full page, maybe multiple pages every single day. I think this is really important so you can go back and look at like, what was I thinking at the beginning of this novena? How was I feeling? And you can see how much you've changed over the course of the novena. So I really recommend journaling every single day just in general, but especially when you're praying this novena. It's also really good because it keeps you on track so that you don't get like, did I pray yesterday? Did I not pray? Oh my gosh, am I behind? Am I not behind? Journal every single day. Cross off the days on a calendar so that you're nice, neat, and organized. One thing to keep in mind with praying this novena is you're supposed to pray, obviously one a day, and people recommend that you end it on a feast day. You don't have to do that. It's kind of cool. Like if you started on, for example, Halloween, you end on Christmas. You can pray a week before Lent starts to end it on Easter, which is what I did this year. So you can end it on a feast day. You don't have to. You can just start it whenever you want to. I've had some friends start it on a random day, was going to end it on a feast day, and then they got sidetracked. They missed a few days, so they ended it a few days later, and it ended up something big happened to them on that day. I recommend that you pray in the morning instead of at night, because in the morning you don't run out of time. So my experience, sometimes I would come home, from hanging out with my friends. Maybe I thought I was going to be home at 8 and I got home at 11. My personal policy is if it's after 11, I'm not praying the rosary, because at that point I'm doing it just because I have to. I'm not doing it because I want to. I'm not going to be giving my full self to the rosary. And I really believe that it is important that you get out what you put into the rosary. So if I'm praying the rosary in a lackluster way, I'm going to get a lackluster relationship from Mary. So I want to be just fully giving myself, and I can't do that after 11 o'clock at night. So 11 o'clock at night, that's my cutoff. Even if I missed a day, I am cut off. I am not praying the rosary after 11 o'clock at night. On to the testimony. What happened while I prayed these? So I prayed it quite a few times, and I don't want to really go into too much detail about some of the times because it's a little bit embarrassing what has happened sometimes during these. My prayers have never been answered the way I want them to. Let's just say that. I also have prayed it twice for some non-concrete intentions, which I'm not going to say I regret, but I basically prayed it for something that was just not tangible, not physical. So it was just a little weird because I didn't feel, it didn't work. So my most recent experience, I was praying for 8 couples of my friends who are in a serious relationship, who have been together for well over a year, sometimes multiple years, and they are not engaged yet, and they're not having the right conversations to get engaged. One of the couples, it was massive red flags all over the place, and my friend said she didn't want to be alone. That was the only reason keeping her from breaking up with him. And I said, well, you'll never meet your future husband if you're like, oh my goodness, driving me nuts. So when I was praying this novena, I would pray it. I had the list of my friends' names in my journal. I would try and say my friends' names every single day of the novena. Sometimes I would just, not be able to say it, so I would just say for the names in my book. I'm just going to go over what happened to each one of these couples. There was 8 of them. One couple broke up, then got back together swiftly. One couple, they lived together, but the man said he was never going to marry her, and now he thinks I'll marry her eventually. I don't know. One couple, my friend called me and said that they're having a ton of set conversations to get ready for an engagement, and they hope to be engaged by the end of the summer, which would be awesome. One couple finally got engaged. I was so happy about it. They did not get engaged during the novena. This took a little while. This happened a couple weeks ago. They did get engaged though. One couple broke up, but they still talk to each other. One couple went through a horrific health scare, but they have come out stronger. They have come out much stronger. They are still not engaged, but they came out stronger. And the last couple, the girl is pushing engagement on the man in the relationship, but he doesn't want to get engaged at this time because he feels too much pressure from work. I hope they get engaged very soon, or I hope they break up very soon because they've been together for quite a long time. I'm not saying any of this happened because of the novena, but it definitely helped. Mary was pouring graces over them. I know that. I know Mary was pouring graces over them. And as someone who's consecrated to Mary, Mary knows where my prayers belong. So even though maybe they didn't get engaged or anything that I wanted them to, Mary knows best. Mary knows where to put the prayers, and Mary was definitely helping them in their lives. I know that for a fact. Mary was helping them through these prayers. So this novena, I have kind of a love-hate relationship with it because I have prayed for some big intentions. They have not been answered, but when that doesn't happen, when my intention doesn't get answered, and the person who I prayed for is no longer in my life, or the people that I prayed for is no longer in my life, I just pray, Mary, thank you for doing what I could not do, because I know that person receives so many graces from it, and maybe he's no longer in my life, and maybe they are no longer in my life, but I know they receive graces from it, and I'm pretty sure that intention will be answered. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, maybe it'll literally be answered in 20, 30 years from now. Maybe it'll be answered on their deathbed. I don't know, but I know that intention will be answered. I have had some weird things happen to me during the novena that I definitely attribute to the novena. You really never know. So I'm going to start this novena again today, actually. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to be journaling every day. I'm excited to be guaranteed to pray the rosary every day. And I'm excited because I'm going to try and wake up early, pray it before work, pray it before daily mass, which you guys know I love to do, pray it in adoration, wherever it takes me. I just really also, again, recommend that you guys print out the PDF. I used to, for years, I would just read it off my phone, and that was dumb. I should have just printed it out. So once I had to like literally pay for this to print it out, I thought I was getting like nice papers from Staples or Walgreens, wherever I got it from. They were not nice papers. They just printed it on regular paper. Whatever. Please, you guys, give this one a shot. It's really difficult. It's a lot of work, but God rewards perseverance. And do not get discouraged if you do not receive your intention. God is not a genie. He's not an ATM machine. He is our dad. He is our father. Mary is our mom. She's interceding for us, and I love her so much. And we receive so many graces when we go to our mother. So many. So go to our mother. Place what's on her heart. I recommend a concrete intention, not a vague one, because when you pray for a vague one and then you're done with the 54 days, you're like, But when you pray for a concrete one, it's kind of cool. We're so blessed, you guys. We're so blessed to have the rosary. Shout out St. Dominic, who is my saint of the year, who I've done like absolutely no research on. So that's got to be on my to-do list. Maybe I'll read a book on him. I'm starting to read more. Anyway, you guys, please let me know in the comments below if you have ever prayed the 54-day Rosary Novena. What were your results? Did you get what you prayed for? Did you get what you prayed for in a different way that you never imagined? Maybe did your intention get answered years later? Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on the 54-day novena. Give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe and hit the bell. You guys, that really helps out the algorithm, and I'm just so appreciative of you. You guys are so awesome. I love you so much. I'm praying for you. Please pray for me. I'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.